From the dawn of civilization, the world has been shaped by power, wealth, and influence. Yet there is a story rarely told, a story of Black men and women whose contributions, their wealth, and their power have been hidden under layers of history. Across centuries, they have built empires, led nations, and amassed influence so vast that even the richest of modern tycoons would struggle to comprehend. But to the eyes of many, their history seems invisible. Their achievements are often reduced to myths or ignored entirely. This is the truth. The African-descended people have long commanded kingdoms, traded in luxury, and influenced global events. They were architects, warriors, traders, and rulers, living lives of opulence, power, and authority, far beyond what popular narratives allow us to see. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Global Luxury World for more exclusive stories of hidden wealth, power, and untold luxury. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a journey into the extraordinary. The world sees wealth in dollars, property, and material possessions. Yet true power has always existed where few have looked, within communities of Black people whose riches were measured not only in gold and jewels, but in legacy, knowledge, and influence. While some may think Black history begins with slavery or colonialism, the truth reaches back to civilizations like Mali, Songhai, and Benin, empires where wealth and sophistication define society. Imagine a city of gold, where markets overflowed with ivory, spices, and precious metals. Kings and queens lived in palaces that rivaled any European monarch, commanding armies and dictating trade across continents. This was a luxury lifestyle unknown to the Western imagination, yet it was real, powerful, and profoundly influential. Consider the great empires of West Africa. Long before the rise of the modern European nations, the Mali Empire, under Mansa Musa, was a testament to unimaginable wealth. His pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324 was not merely a spiritual journey, it was a display of opulence that shook the world. Mansa Musa traveled with thousands of attendants, each adorned in silk and gold. He carried enormous quantities of gold, distributing it freely along his route, and in doing so, demonstrated a level of wealth that could rival any contemporary European monarch. Cities like Timbuktu and Gao became centers of learning, luxury, and global trade. Scholars, architects, and traders thrived under leaders who understood that true wealth was not simply material, but intellectual, cultural, and strategic. The Kingdom of Benin was no less remarkable. Its capital, Benin City, was famed for its bronze sculptures, ivory carvings, and elaborate palace complexes. These masterpieces reflected a society where art, culture, and wealth converged to create a luxurious standard of life. The Oba of Benin commanded loyalty, influence, and resources that extended far beyond local territories. While the world often overlooks these achievements, these rulers lived in opulence, surrounded by advisors, soldiers, and treasures that few could imagine. Black power in history was not limited to Africa. Across the globe, Black leaders and merchants navigated complex trade networks, controlled valuable commodities, and established dynasties. From Nubia to the Swahili coast, African-descended peoples managed trade routes, naval fleets, and marketplaces that were essential to global economies. Their wealth was tangible, their influence undeniable, yet centuries of biased history sought to minimize it. Today, many people assume that Black wealth and luxury are recent phenomena. Movies, media, and literature often paint a narrow picture, Black communities as impoverished, marginalized, or struggling. Yet these narratives ignore centuries of elite Black leadership, entrepreneurship, and prosperity. The African-descended elite of the past were not only wealthy, they were strategic, innovative, and globally connected. Take the story of Black Caribbean planters and merchants who controlled trade networks across islands and continents. They lived in mansions that rivaled European estates, traveled with luxury, and influenced colonial economies from within. Their wealth was often seized or destroyed by colonial powers, leaving behind fragmented narratives that hide their true legacy. The misconception continues today, as modern audiences fail to connect contemporary Black achievement to its historical roots. From Wall Street investors to tech entrepreneurs, the lineage of resilience, strategy, and sophistication is unmistakable. Luxury is often associated with material excess, private jets, yachts, designer clothes. But historically, Black elites defined luxury in broader terms. Knowledge, power, and the ability to influence society were the ultimate luxuries. Education, diplomacy, and political strategy were currencies just as valuable as gold or silver. To dismiss these achievements is to ignore the grandeur of civilizations, families, and communities that mastered the art of living in prosperity against enormous odds. Consider the untold stories of Black influence in Europe, the Middle East, and the Americas. Figures like Estevanico, the Moroccan explorer, traveled across the Americas in the 16th century, navigating treacherous landscapes and forging alliances with indigenous communities. He was a pioneer, an influencer, and a symbol of the resilience and intelligence of African-descended peoples in an era dominated by European conquest. In the Caribbean, Black mariners and merchants amassed wealth and power that rivaled European colonists. They controlled trade routes, governed communities, and cultivated luxury in ways that were subtle yet unmistakable. From hidden estates to thriving ports, these individuals lived a life of authority and prestige, shaping societies even when their stories were erased or diminished. The African diaspora carried these traditions forward. In Brazil, Cuba, and other parts of Latin America, Black leaders cultivated wealth and luxury within their communities despite systemic oppression. They built palaces, patronized the arts, and influenced politics. Their legacy is a hidden layer of global luxury and power, often invisible to mainstream narratives. Luxury is not just about possessions. It is about influence, command, and visibility. Throughout history, Black elites have understood this principle. They used fashion, architecture, art, and ceremony to communicate status. From gilded palaces to ceremonial robes, every object was a symbol of authority. Imagine a hidden palace on the coast of West Africa. Walls lined with bronze reliefs, floors polished with imported marble, gardens filled with exotic plants. Within these walls, rulers held court, directed trade, and dispensed justice. Every visitor would recognize the wealth, sophistication, and power contained within, even if the wider world remained oblivious. This is the essence of Black luxury, a combination of authority, aesthetics, and strategy that transcends material wealth. Even today, traces of these hidden empires survive. Successful Black entrepreneurs, financiers, and innovators around the world often operate in spheres that blend cultural heritage with modern luxury. Their success is not just financial, it is symbolic, a continuation of centuries of strategy, resilience, and opulence. Despite centuries of marginalization, the legacy of Black power and luxury persists. From historical empires to modern billionaires, the influence of African-descended individuals is undeniable. This legacy is about more than wealth. It is about survival, adaptation, and leadership. Imagine rulers whose power was measured in gold, knowledge, and alliances, not just land. These were individuals whose influence could sway nations, control trade, and dictate cultural trends. Their lifestyle was one of strategic luxury, where every possession, every palace, and every ceremony was carefully curated to convey authority. Modern society may overlook these contributions, but the sophistication, skill, and influence of Black elites has shaped the world in ways that few recognize. The contrast between perceived poverty and real influence is stark. While popular narratives depict Black communities as struggling, the truth is far more complex. Behind the veil of history lies a record of wealth, power, and luxury unmatched by many contemporary elites. This is the hidden story of resilience and mastery, a narrative that challenges assumptions and celebrates the sophistication of African-descended peoples throughout history. Before we end, remember to subscribe to Global Luxury World. Hit the bell icon, join the family, and explore more hidden stories of wealth, influence, and extraordinary luxury. Luxury is often measured in dollars, assets, and material possessions. But true luxury is influence, legacy, and the power to shape the world. Black elites, past and present, have embodied this principle. From the golden courts of Mali to modern global entrepreneurs, their story is one of strategy, vision, and opulence that defies simplistic narratives. As we reflect on the untold history of Black wealth and influence, it becomes clear that true power is not always visible, not always acknowledged, and not always celebrated. Yet it persists, thriving in palaces, hidden estates, and the minds of those who understand that luxury is as much about wisdom and authority as it is about material abundance. This is the story of a people whose wealth was vast, whose influence was global, and whose luxury was sophisticated, deliberate, and enduring. The Black legacy of power, opulence, and resilience remains a testament to what true luxury really means. It is a story that has been overlooked for too long, but now it finally emerges in all its grandeur, a narrative worthy of admiration, respect, and recognition.